Good afternoon, morning, wherever you're at, everybody. Welcome to the Pits Motorcast. This is your host, Dave. And I got a line with me, special guest, front engine, Nitro Dragster driver, Mendy Fry. How you doing, Wendy?
I'm good. Getting ready to go work on the car, actually.
So first question I got for you, Mendy, is how did you first get started in the drag racing?
Well, my dad was a chassis builder and an engine builder, and he wanted a boy, so he got me. So I tell everyone that I was my dad's only boy. I worked in the shop growing up and just, drove quarter midgets when I was 4, honesties when I was like 12, and then just, rolled into drag racing when I was 16.
So when did you first start driving any kind of car to do drag racing?
Yeah, so actually we used to have our shop was at Pierce Point, and we'd go every Wednesday night, we'd test something, and I was still only 15 and I was bored, so I took the shop truck, and since, we're pretty much fixtures there at the track, they looked the other way on my license, and drove the shop truck that night, and then and the next week, and then got into a PE Comic Dragster and Cop. Was the first car that I drove. When I started, they didn't have junior dragster, which is how kids get into it now at really early ages. But I'm old, so I had to start in cars that adults drive.
So you started out bracket racing?
Yeah, no. Competition Eliminator is actually a heads-up class that has like lots of different indexes. It's probably like the most confusing class to explain out there, but it's still heads-up drag racing. And then, I drove a 27 Model T Roadster in the 80s when nostalgia racing was just starting. That was the world's quickest and fastest street legal hot rod. And, got into junior fuel in 2000 and started lobbying hard for Top Fuel. And finally, High Speed Motorsports, which is the team I'm with now, gave me a shot in 2004. Drove a lot of front-engine Top Fuel dragsters and a lot of nostalgia funny cars between now and then, and got back together with this team in 2016 and won the title last year, so pretty excited.
Yeah, I saw that. So how many events did you do last year besides the one in Bakersfield?
Yeah, so the Heritage Series is 5 events, and we runnered-up at the March meet at Bakersfield, and then won the rest of them that year. They're Boise, Bowling Green, Kentucky. The last one's at Bakersfield, and unfortunately, Tulsa, Oklahoma rained out. We won that one the year before, and we're looking to repeat there, but rained out unfortunately. So we had 4 total events last year out of 5.
So it was a good year last year.
It was epic. Yeah, we lost 1 round of drag racing out of every round of racing that we entered. We set low ET and top speed of every event, with the exception of Bowling Green, where Jimmy Young got top speed away from us. So yeah, I'd say it was pretty big.
So let me ask you this, Mandy. What was the experience like for you the first time ever to drive a, Top Fuel dragster, to go down the track with it?
Oh, great question. Yeah, I met these guys in Vegas, and we're going to test the car in Vegas, and get strapped into that thing at like midnight in the middle of summer, and roll into those lights. And I gotta admit, I was terrified. I had been telling people for 2 years that I could do this, and here it was. It's time to put up or shut up, and I literally almost got out of the car. I was like, okay, these people are not going to think bad of you if you say you can't do this. And but then they fired the car up, and then once you see those header flames, you just kind of calm down. I don't know how to explain it. And I got the first burnout under my belt, and I'm like, all right. So I'm backing up. I'm like, I can do this, And but I gotta say, you hit the gas on 3,500 horsepower, blown nitro, with that engine in front of you, the first time, and it's at night, and those header flames come up. It is just like, what the fuck? It is crazy.
So the nitro methane kind of puts you at ease, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just it's the anticipation of the moment that if you've never done it was a lot. Like, I mean, it really was made me kind of hyperventilate. But then, there's something about the sound of the engine and the vibration through the car, just the whole thing, like, just kind of calms you down. For me, anyway, calms me down.
So what kind of advice would you give anybody listening that they're thinking about jumping in a Nitro Dragster?
Well, you don't just jump in one. I mean, you do if you're Del Worsham when you're 16 years old, but that's the only thing you ever knew. But it's a long process. It took me a long time to get here. I mean, I've been racing since I was driving since 1986. And just a lot of hard work and perseverance. I mean, there's two. Either you're born into it or you have to get into it somehow and get on a team and work your way up, So you have to be willing to give up a lot in terms of your time, your relationship, and quite frankly, you gotta have a thick skin because you're gonna screw up more than you're gonna do well. And it is crushingly humbling when you do. So hard work, and never give up.
All right, now I made an event for this interview on Facebook and shared it in different groups like the front engine dragster groups. And somebody else, I forgot his name, but he asked, "Why aren't you driving a top fuel dragster in NHRA already?"
Yeah, well, I tried actually. Back in I tried twice in my life. I actually thought it was going to happen in the late 80s. And then, and it didn't, and kind of real life got in the way there. And then I tried again in the early 2000s, and I got close again, and it didn't happen. And, honestly, that's when it just completely started changing. Like, it was a different goal now, right? Like, it was more about finding money than it was about being hired based on your skills and your abilities to, like, be a spokesman, a person for the team, and a leader. You know what I mean? It was more about how much money do you have, and you can actually end up getting, bought out of your sponsorship by somebody else who wants to buy the ride out from under you. So it's like, I'm actually happy it didn't happen, and now I'm in a place in my life where I really like where I'm at. I wouldn't mind smacking the loud pedal on one of those cars just to feel what that feels like. Go, 300 miles per hour. Hell yeah, I'll do that. But I don't know that I want to trade what I have for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
At this point in my life, I mean, good. I love my team. I love the class I'm in. I'm in the car I want to be in. I'm with the team I want to be in. I'm in the class I want to be in. It's a badass class, and I still get to have a life outside of it.
Right. Yeah, there was just an article that came out recently from the NHRA driver saying how expensive the nitromethane is now.
Well, nitro's the cheapest part of it. I mean, it's just one of many expendables. I mean, you want to do that class for a year. It's just the team and the travel costs alone, right, are a massive part of the budget. But yeah, the cost of nitro doesn't help.
Yeah, it's like $1,000.
It's not about how much the fuel costs. It's about the damage it does.
Right.
I mean, it takes perfectly good parts and turns them into, to coin a phrase, pits of metal, right? But like metal kitty litter is more like it.
Yeah, then if you're not one of those big racers without a sponsor, you don't have all those extra spare stuff available.
Nope, that's exactly right. Speed costs money. It's how fast you want to go.
Yeah, like the big guys, they got 2 or 3 extra cars to deal with when one car goes down.
Yeah, they do. I mean, there's a lot of stress on those chassis if they get wore out, or something happens. I mean, ultimately somebody crashes or, blows so bad it blows the frame rails out or something. So they've definitely got another piece of pipe hanging in the top of that trailer.
So what's your schedule looking like for this year?
Same. We're going to to do the Heritage Series race and defend our title. That's 5 races, potentially 6, I think. I think we've added Spokane, Washington as a point race. So, yep, that's it. So March meet is the first one in Bakersfield, second weekend in March. It is an epic, epic event. The High Speed Motorsports team with our Cam 2 Blue Blood Racing Oil will be there and start out this season right by winning that thing and then just keep going.
Now, are you going to do anything with that deal that Jim Young's putting on, that Extreme Top Fuel event that he's doing at certain places?
Yeah, so we've got it's a kind of a second on our schedule. Our number one priority is the Heritage Series. If people and schedules and budget allows, we'd love to go to one of those. Yep.
Yeah, that would be cool to see it come down to Cordova.
I know. I love Cordova. I've been there. I went there in 2000 and 2001 when they started racing Top Fuel. They shipped me out to the Midwest to do a bunch of match races. So we did that. What is it? The World Series of Drag Racing event that they have there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now with the front engine dragster, how many sponsors do you have for that dragster?
Yeah, we've got some really great sponsors. Like I said, Cam 2 Blue Blood Racing, and Master Cam, and Donovan, and the Blower Shop. Lots of great sponsors that back us throughout the year.
All right, so now when you started drag racing, your family's always backed you up?
You mean monetarily, or you mean like within the goal?
No, I mean they supported you in drag racing, your family.
Oh, Ron Fry's daughter wasn't going to do anything but drag race. I'll tell you that right now. That was the only thing that my dad thought was important, and so when you grow up in that environment, there was no second thought about what I was doing. It was when I was ready is when I was going to do it, and how much we could afford. Right? We started in that Tunnel Dragster, and then started racing Top Alcohol Dragster in 89 or 88, 89. So I was 19, 20 years old when that happened. And then the Nostalgia Roadster, lots of different cars in between there. But yeah, there was no question. It wasn't a matter of support. It was a matter of just matter of fact what I'm doing.
Yeah, sometimes the mother gets kind of worried about that kind of, oh, is it too dangerous? I don't want her drag racing.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mom's all about that. She definitely felt that way, but she didn't have, there wasn't that much saying it. I mean, she just kind of like grin and bear it, and it sucked because, like, I did crash once when I was 20. I crashed that roadster on my head at Seattle, and then I had a pretty big explosion in 2004 when my Top Alcohol Dragster grew up, and she was there for both of those, and so it doesn't give her warm and fuzzy.
Right. So what drivers out there were inspirational to you back when you started getting into drag racing?
I started really getting into it when I was about 15, and I was devour the National Dragster every time it came in, and so I would run. I would be into Gary Beck and the guys that were winning at that time, right? I was into Shirley Muldowney at first, but then she kind of dissed me, so I lost interest in her pretty quickly.
Okay. Now, currently for the dragster, how many crew members do you have, and who are your crew members?
Yeah, so we have quite a few guys on the team. We have Donnie and Kyle and Alana, who's our Nitro intern. And Tom Sheelar is the owner and crew chief. Rick Sheelar, his brother. And Sean Delamere, who just happens to be the Top Alcohol Dragster champion national champion from last year. So proud of him.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean, those are the regular two guys. We have Eric as well. He drives in from Phoenix to work on the car. In fact, I got to get myself into Anaheim now to get working on it because he can drive all night. I should get there on time, right?
Now, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions when you're at the racetrack?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, get in the race car on the right hand or on the left hand side. Other than that, I don't have anything that I do very different.
So for you, what goes into preparation to get ready for a weekend of drag racing?
Say it again?
For you, how do you get prepared for a weekend of drag racing to get, how do you get prepped up for a weekend of drag racing?
Well, I've got a day job, so sometimes I show up just running on aluminum, quite frankly, because I've been working so much. But, I stay in shape, try and get a good night's sleep, and show up ready to kick some ass.
Awesome. So what are some of your favorite tracks to race on?
I love Bakersfield. I mean, I love Sears Point, too, because we had our shop there, and it's kind of like I go there on a daily basis. But, Bakersfield for me, my father has a tree. I lost my dad in 1996, and my father has a tree in the grove there, and so it just feels like home to me, that track. And it's such a good racing surface, It is in Bakersfield, so that's one thing. But just the history of that place, and been going there since I was a kid, it's my favorite.
All right, so where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
DJ Safety is my suit, and that thing rocks, and then we get a lot of our stuff from Taylor Motorsports as well. A lot of the safety equipment on the car.
All right, so what's the quickest ET you've had with the Dragster?
Quickest ET is 5:58, 5:59, and fastest mile an hour is 261 miles an hour.
All right. So now, what would you consider to be some of the milestones that you reached so far in your drag racing career?
Yeah, definitely the front engine top fuel championship. Definitely, I've been trying to get to that for a long time. Just trying to get to a car that was competitive, and then got invited to join this team in 2016. And I'm so thankful because it's the car to beat. It's the car to beat. Our Tom's maintenance program is second to none, and most of these. Not most of these, but drag races in general are won in the shop, right? So, if you don't have a prepared car and a game plan and all your stuff together properly, you're not going to show up to the track and just win. It looks easy, but it's a lot of work.
All right, now I have a few fun questions for you, then we'll let you get going. Do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
Yeah, but they're all boring. I like to do stuff with my hands, so I like to make stuff out of metal and wood, and that I get to use. A day that I get to use my tools, I'm happy. And I like to garden, go on hikes, be out in the fresh air.
Now, if you and your hubby Cole ever have time to go on vacation, you guys have a favorite vacation spot to hit?
Well, we do like to go out to the high desert, like the Joshua Tree area. We go out there quite a bit. Wouldn't mind going back to Maui. That's where we went to get married, and that place was amazing. So, Joshua Tree is a little closer than Maui. But if I were to say if I'm going to go on an actual vacation again, I'd love to go back to Maui. I think we would.
Okay, so throughout your career now of drag racing, how many awards have you won, like plaques, trophies, all good stuff?
Yeah, it's all come together in the last couple of years, quite frankly. won one here and there throughout my career, and won a lot when I was younger. In that Roadster, we were undefeated for nearly 3 years. So they didn't have a championship then, and it changed hands from the NDRA to the good guys in that time frame, right? So they didn't really have a championship then, but if they did, we would have won it 3 years in a row. But I had a real period where I was either working on cars because I didn't have a ride, or I was driving stuff that wasn't quite as competitive enough to win. So I amassed a bunch of trophies in the last couple of years.
So now, if you were able to do time traveling, go backwards in time, would you do anything differently with your drag race career?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Probably. But I can't put my finger on the one time or place that I should have. I'm pretty happy about where I ended up and where I am now. I mean, so not really.
All right. So, what's your favorite food to eat?
My favorite food's got to be Mexican food.
Favorite beverage?
Favorite beverage? I don't know. I like me a cold beer on a Saturday afternoon.
All right. So, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Dude, you should give me a list before you call me. My favorite movie of all time has got to be The Big Lebowski.
All right. What's your favorite music to listen to?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for 80s heavy metal, and I'm also definitely down with. I know they aren't compatible, but definitely down with new wave, kind of post-punk new wave.
That's cool. So, what's been your most embarrassing moment at the track?
Oh God, there's so many to choose from. Yeah, there's so many to choose from. I think the worst ones are when you screw up when you had the car to beat. So I red lit bad in 2016 in Boise, Idaho. That one still just kills me. I don't know if it's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it's just crushing, right? When you lose it for the team, it's the worst.
All right. So, what's been the fondest memory of your drag racing career?
Well, there's two. I mean, definitely winning the March meet in 2016 was it was just, or 2017, excuse me, was just amazing. Like I couldn't believe it happened. Right, like the race rained out, and so we had to run it on Monday. So it went from 20,000 people to 20 people. You know what I mean? And it just did not matter. The car against me, Jim Murphy, he broke on the starting line, so I had a single. So I knew I won when I hit the gas on the starting line. We legged it out anyway. So at low ET, ran a 5:59, and pulled off the track, and I just burst into tears. It was just all of it. Like I'd worked so hard to get to that moment, and it was the March meet, which is the most history, and it was still to this day the most emotional, just amazing moment in my career. Winning the championship also was pretty bitchin'. I ain't gonna lie, but that March meet win was amazing.
All right, now if you weren't a drag racer, what do you think you'd be doing right now with your life?
I have no idea. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't a drag racer. I can't imagine any alternative where I didn't become a drag racer. Yeah. Since it's the only thing that I really knew I wanted to be when I was younger. Yeah, then I got my degree and I became an accountant, and so I'm a CPA by day, but if I wasn't a drag racer on the weekends, I don't know, maybe I'd have to be in some sort of competitive sport. So, I don't know, pick it. Downhill skiing, I don't know. But it'd have to be something.
All right, now, How important do you think it is for families to bring their kids out to watch drag racing in this day and age?
Well, families to do anything with their kids in this day and age, right? But that's how I got into it, was through involvement my entire life. I think it's important for the sport, right? That kids are involved in an early age. They understand what it is. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of worse things that kids could get exposed to, because there's a lot of great values. I mean, it's hard work, it's determination, it's perseverance, it's it's humility, it's competition, it's all of those things. So I'd say pretty important.
Now, if people that are listening in right now want to find your schedule, where you're going to be at, what's the best way for them to follow you?
Yeah, so we have a website, highspeedmotorsports.com. The AAFD is also a website and also a Facebook page that is the All-American Field Dragsters Association. So the series that follows all of the cars that are in the series, and press releases for each of the events are posted there, and I'll have the season, the Heritage Series schedule posted there as well. I'll have exploits of each of our weekends on my Facebook page as well. So.
Yeah, I know Cole said you haven't been on the other page for a long time, the Nitro Kitty one.
Yeah, I haven't been on that one. It was too much. I tried to get everyone on my personal one to move over there, and it didn't work, so I just kind of used my personal one.
Yeah, I sent you a friend request, by the way.
Yeah. I haven't been on Facebook. It's going on 4 weeks now.
That could be a good thing. That's a good thing.
I seriously have not even opened it, and I don't even know. I don't know. It's pretty liberating not doing it. But I'll get back on it before March.
Yeah, around when racing season's ready to start up.
Yeah. That's the only thing I really use to post about anyway, is racing.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you very much, Mendy, for taking time to interview today. You have any final words or thank yous to anybody want to do out there?
Nah, just I want to thank my team again. Tom Sheelar and everyone on the High Speed Motorsports team, and the women that keep us fed. Angela and Amanda, without them, I mean, Army marches on stomach, right? And obviously our sponsors, Cam 2 Blue Blood Racing, Walt Stevens, Maria Stevens. I mean, just nothing but respect and thanks.
So what can we look forward to seeing out of you for this season? Anything new, changes coming with the car or anything?
Yeah, we got some things up our sleeve. We're going to test next weekend. So until then, I'm remaining quiet about it.
So you're looking to go faster. That's all we can know right now.
Every drag racer is looking to go faster. That's the point.
You always have the need for speed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, no problem. We'll do another one in the future.
All right.
You have a great day.
Bye.
And safe travels.